Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Quick Draw, our hands and a little bit of friction will be spreading a lot of gadiation when we take a look at the Staticor. Now first and foremost, I must applaud DE for allowing us to live out our fantasies of firing off some of Ryu's Hadoukens or one of Goku's Kamehamehas. All of us weebs, thank you dearly. However, while the Staticor does feature some uniquely entertaining mechanics, from its charge up altering the projectile's behavior as well as the innate radiation damage, the real question is, does fantasy deliver in reality? Now, you can pick up the Staticor in the Corpus Lab of your clan dojo after you've completed the appropriate research. So, due to my incessant nagging, they have finally included the build requirements in our mailings, so be sure you're stocked up on both Feldrion and Nitane if you're planning on building this one. However, if you can't wait to unleash your balls of fire on the enemy, you can always pick it up pre-built along with a weapon slot and catalyst for 200 plat. Now, the Staticor's primary damage type is Radiation, aka the Game Maker. Now, this is great against alloy armor as well as robotic enemies, which honestly isn't the most impressive array, especially considering that it does suffer against standard corpus shielding as well as infested and fossilized infested. So, ensure that you're using the appropriate elemental combo in order to deal the optimal amount of damage. So, starting with the mechanics, this baby offers two different trigger types. A quick click fires off a single-handed projectile that explodes in approximately a 5-meter area of effect when it comes in contact with terrain, an enemy unit, or reaches its maximum range of approximately 40 meters. However, it doesn't stop there. You can hold down the trigger to charge up your shots, slowly consuming ammo until you decide to unleash the gadiation. Now, there are a few things to keep in mind. First and foremost, charging a shot will slow the velocity of the projectile, but amplify its damage and increase its range, maxing out at approximately 15 to 20 meters. But be aware that once you've reached full charge, the damage and range increase does cap out. Whether that's a bug or intended, I have no clue. But as of update 18.4.7, after playtesting, those are the numbers that I've seen. In addition, you can keep charging until you completely depleted your magazine. Just be aware that the Staticor will blow once you run out of ammo, so be cognizant of that fact to ensure that you properly aimed your payload. Now, as for usability, while the entertainment factor is through the roof and the sound assets are some of my favorite in-game, admittedly this one can be a bit of a pain to get used to. First and foremost, aim down sights is not a thing. The weapon model and particle effects make it near impossible to use anything but hip shots, which honestly isn't terrible, but for some people may prove to be a challenge. In addition, I personally found the standard projectiles to move a bit slower than I'd like, and the fully charged up shots near impossible to hit a moving target. So in this case, I much prefer to aim full charges at terrain to ensure that the splash damage connects, rather than trying to aim for headshots and missing the targets completely. Now, I know some of you are going to want me to address this, but yes, this is one of the rare weapons where status is done right. First and foremost, you don't even need to mod for status. Just tossing in multi-shot mods gives us a 55% chance to trigger a status effect. And because a fully charged shot covers a very large area of effect, it means you won't be struggling to apply status to multiple targets. In addition, its innate damage type is radiation, which means that enemies you unload on will quickly switch teams for you, allowing you to safely take advantage of the clusterfuck. And if that isn't status done right, I don't know what is. Now, speaking of things done right, can we talk? Okay, so the Staticor is probably one of the best examples of fantasy versus reality. Anime just makes throwing fireballs look too damn good, when in reality, that bolstering surge of flames can be sidestepped completely. In fact, if someone watched your ass charge up a massive beam of energy, they'd probably have pieced the fuck out before you got your vision back from all of those goddamn particle effects. And in that way, anime is basically like porn. I mean, those threesomes, they look damn good. But in all reality, what if y'all got stripped down and one of them happened to smell really, really bad? Then you're trading looks trying to figure out who the fuck it is, and you're slightly worried that the other guy might think it's you. And even worse, what if it is you and you don't even realize it? Now you got two people spreading the word about your smelly ass. Or, how about all of those fucking sex accoutrements? Yeah, sure, a sex swing seems like a nice way to spice things up, however, let's be realistic. Someone's gotta be in charge of installing that shit and taking it all back down. But who the fuck is gonna wanna do that after you're half passed out from Afterglow? now you run the risk of getting tangled up in that on your way to take your secret midnight dump. And let's face it, if your sessions are anything like mine, it is very hard to keep anything clenched in, no matter how hard you pucker. So let's leave all of that fancy shit to porn and anime and get back to the quick draw. So, all in all, I have to say that the Staticor is a shit ton of fun. So much so that I personally feel like it makes up for its shortcomings. While radiation isn't the greatest element for damage, and the projectile travel time can be a bit of a bitch, this fucker is built to put on a good show. Whether it's wiping out an entire squad or causing chaos among the ranks, it's undeniably some form of hilarious. It also comes with an innate dash polarity, which is a huge asset when modding for elemental damage. Because, at the end of the day, while watching a bunch of guys go at it is always a fun sight, there is nothing better than blowing them away yourself. So thank you all for watching another episode of The Quick Draw. If you haven't caught it, check out my previous episode on the Vulkar Wraith, as well as my PSA on why you shouldn't be breaking your elemental combos. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I ask you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, stay tuned for more tips on how to avoid embarrassing bowel movements here at A Gay Guy Plays. Okay, so I'll finish up the graphics for the quick draw while you grab some footage in-game. Just don't go doing anything stupid like making multiple accounts to farm plat discounts. You know, that shit could get you banned.